something that you said that it really didn't land for me until I had this experience where I sat in a medicine ceremony with a man and felt him deeply, like a really beautiful practitioner and server of the medicine. And a friend came to me and she's like, I'm looking to try this medicine. I'm like, this guy's amazing. Highly recommend him. And she went to him, and when she was under the influence of the medicine, he molested her.
Oh my God.
It just, it shook me in a way that I didn't ever question my safety when I was with this man, because I don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the issues with men complaining that a woman tests is that they don't realize how different we need a level of safety. Most men can walk down the street at night with their headphones in and not actually care and not feel unsafe. Most women will never do that. They'll have one that's kind of out, so they're on a far higher alert all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the way that we are. This is just a fact of life, that women have been abused and beaten and manipulated and murdered and raped so many times for so many generations since the dawn of time, that it is almost ingrained in them. So they need to test to see whether or not they are safe, and see whether or not that man is actually capable of holding them and protecting them. Because if he's not, then she needs to close her heart for her own protection. And the little tests are just ways of her gauging whether or not she can fully express the truth of her heart, or whether or not she needs to close and protect herself. And the more untrustable a man is, the more closed his woman is going to be. And then suddenly, well, why isn't she more feminine? It's like, well, that's because of you. And maybe she's come in with her own kind of pathology and her own history and whatever, but that just means that you need to step up more so she can learn to trust you. And maybe you do the right thing 99 times, and there's a one time you don't do it, and that's the thing that she looks at. But that's life. And if you want your woman to be the most radiant version of herself, then you need to create a space where she feels safe enough to do so. And often, this whole idea of, I don't want you to be so emotional, it's like, you don't go down to the ocean and hope for no waves. Like, if you want the woman that is sexual and radiant and just will fuck you to God, then you need to take the emotional side of it. You need to allow her to express her entire range, not just the little slither of the range that you enjoy. And then the other part of it is, you don't need to be the mountain that takes her abuse.
Right.
Like, you can sit there and you can draw a boundary if she's uncontained and if she doesn't wash it through her heart first. No man has to sit there and receive the abuse of anybody. But then you need to be present enough and grounded enough that you don't get so triggered that you lose your ground and then you're both lost. And because basically it's the emotional state of two children that start to fight and start to argue if you lose your ground. So if you can be contained and present enough that she comes to you and she starts to get really emotional, and you just breathe deeply, and maybe you put a hand on her leg, and maybe you just really bring her back down. Or maybe you say, hey, look, this is not beneficial in the moment. Let's come back in 10 minutes. Let's go for a walk. We'll take some space. We'll come back in 10 minutes, or we'll come back in 2 hours, and we'll have the conversation then, rather than trying to avoid it and hoping it goes away, which a lot of men do. But then this comes down to the men's nervous system, and has he practiced enough that when her storm rages, he can actually just breathe through it and be okay, and not turn into the 7-year-old adaptive child version of himself. So we both have work to do.